What's up, everybody? Kong Spideyzilla back at it with another video. Finally, um, I do feel like I owe you guys and gals another video, so here we go. My last video was the Toy Show Movie 4, the new Toy Empire. So check that out. But because I have been slacking on videos lately, I'm terribly sorry. As an ADHD person, I do struggle with staying focused on certain things, and I'm easily distracted with certain things. So hopefully you guys can forgive me. I really want to try and do better on like giving you guys more content. So I know I'm working on it. You know, more videos coming soon. But this is also another reason as to why I'm making this video as well. And you can probably tell what it is from the title and from the looks of it. All right. This is going to be my King Kong and Godzilla physical media collection. So this is DVD, Blu-ray, and one of them is a special surprise, actually. And another reason why I'm doing this is because it was recently, not a month ago, this guy's birthday, King Kong. So like April 7th, correct me if I'm wrong. But I might as well do Godzilla as well because overuse of the word well. But I might as well just do Goji too because I don't have a lot of King Kong DVDs in my collection, so oh well. I might as well just do Godzilla too. Alright, and plus I recently just had a marathon with all the King Kong movies and a good chunk of the Godzilla movies. Not all of them. And for conclusion, I don't have all of the Showa movies on DVD. I do not. So you're mostly going to be seeing Heisei and Millennium and Monsterverse, but I do have some Showa Godzilla movies on DVD. I'm going to work very soon on getting the Showa Godzilla movies on physical media. I really want to get that Criterion collection, but I don't know, my family is kind of in a money problem right now, so like, and that's pretty expensive these days, so and it's sad too, because like that looks like a fire collection right there. I would want that, but also I want to collect it on DVD because I like to watch my movies alone. Like I want to watch them on my DVD player, like my mini DVD player, like I used to as a kid. So yeah, but just uh, I'll get to that at some point. The Showa Godzilla DVDs. I'll get the rest of them. So will I make an update of that? I'm not sure, but without further ado, this video is going to be long, so we might as well just get to it, shall we? Alright, I'm going to start with the King Kong movies first. And as you can see, for representation-wise, by the way, if you're wondering what's over here, yes, there's Mario, there's Sonic, and then there's my Jada Toys Godzilla recent edition. And if you watched my movie, my Toy Show movie, my newest Toy Show movie, you probably know already by now, but spoiler alert if you didn't see. And yes, there's my Switch. But you guys don't. That stuff is cool. But you guys came here for this. So you guys and gals came here for this. All right. And for representation wise, I have my Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla -1 and my old Playmates King Kong figure. It's not old. Like I didn't have this in my childhood, but I did had it for years already. It was when I went through that phase of collecting. I started to collect King Kong and Godzilla figures, so um I would like to get the last couple of Kong variant figures because I have the jaw-breaking one, I have the the normal Kong with the rotating chest, but the I don't have the gripping Kong or the punching Kong, so I'd like to get that, but the reason why I have these two out is because for the theme of movies, I feel like it's cool to have these two versions of the characters because represented because These, sorry, I'm distracted by noise in the background right now. Um, I'm sorry if you guys keep hearing noises in the background, but I decided to have these two versions of the characters representing the figures because obviously the 2005 King Kong movie won an Academy Award, and so did Godzilla Minus One. Yes, Minus One was the first Godzilla movie to win an Academy Award. How about that? This goes to show how much of a modern masterpiece that movie is. Alright, so I figured it'd just be very fitting to have these two, like representation. I want to have some form of representation with figures. Alright, so without further ado, let's start off with the eighth wonder of the world, King Kong. So here are all the movies, and I'll get to that after this. Alright, now I don't think I have any Blu-rays of King Kong, actually, minus the MonsterVerse films right here. But normal non-MonsterVerse King Kong movies, no, I don't think I have it. I would like to get that ultimate edition of Peter Jackson's King Kong. That'll be pretty cool. All right, here we have two film collection, King Kong 1933 and Son of Kong. I'm also going to be giving my personal opinions on the movies as well. Not a full-on review because that's going to take for dang ever. But like super tiny mini reviews, and I'm warning, this is going to be my own personal opinion on the movie, so feel free to disagree with me if you want to. We agree to disagree. That's what us humans do, after all. But, you know, it's best to just respect each other's opinion, respect for this, for supposed to be different, and move on. Alright, but these are going to be my own personal opinions on the movies. Not a full-blown review, because it's going to take too long. Alright, let's get straight to it. We're 7 minutes in right now. Okay. 1933 King Kong. So here's a two-film collection. So, funny thing, with this, and then this triple feature down here, I actually found at Walmart. And I decided to get these two because I didn't own the 1933 original King Kong at the time, or Son of Kong. Just like, oh, cool, like 2 in 1 package. And, I feel like I needed another copy of 2005 King Kong because, I really super like that movie so much. I might have worn out the discs. Here's King Kong vs. Godzilla 1962. 1963 because it's the American version, but it's 1962. It's 1962. King Kong Escapes. That's another reason why I bought this, because my old copy of King Kong vs. Godzilla 1962 is probably worn out, so. And by the way, I'm just gonna pull that up right now because it's also here. But yeah, here it is, my old worn down copy. Yeah, that I overplayed. So that's why I had to get it. And King Kong Escapes I didn't have, so that copy of King Kong vs. Godzilla was worn down. So that's another reason why I bought that triple feature. But I just had to get both of these DVD sets. Here's King Kong and Son of Kong. Well, King Kong 1933 and Son of Kong. Because, it's the problem, like, oh, which one are you talking about? The Peter Jackson one, the 1933 one? Or is it even the 70s one? Alright. Here's the set. 2 film collection. They're two movies in one day. They're 2 movies on one disc, so I would have liked to get that special edition of King Kong 1933 with the 2 discs. The 2-disc special edition, yeah. 1933 King Kong, honestly, what else can I say? It's the original classic masterpiece. My second favorite King Kong movie. You probably know which one that is. But I know most people would probably most definitely choose the 1933 King Kong, and that's highly respectable because it's the original masterpiece. It's the OG, of course. I don't know what most people think of Son of Kong, but in my opinion, I honestly liked Son of Kong. I don't care what people say. I really like Son of. I did really enjoy Son of Kong. What else? Oh yeah, might as well just have this. So I did say I was gonna get to this. Why is this in the King Kong collection? Well, because you see that. Yes, I think that's the director of King Kong. So, and Willis H. O'Brien, who obviously worked on these two movies, also worked on this. And because it's another ape, has to do with another giant ape, and King Kong, I feel like Mighty Joe Young was really just following in the footsteps of King Kong. So like, let's make another giant ape movie, you know? But like they finished it with King Kong, so it's like, this came out in 1949. Yeah, 1949. Of course too. RKO also helped work on this movie, like these. All right, there you go. I just figured I include this. It's been a while since I watched Mighty Joe Young, the Disney one or the original black and white one, which is the one I have right now in my hands. I remember really liking this, watching the highlight moments as a kid on DVD. Um, I don't care what people say. I know the Disney version gets hate, but I don't care what people say. I actually like the Disney version, the Disney remake. But this is just a little bonus because I feel like I have to include it because it's a little bit of a part of the King Kong legacy. At least I like to consider it. Yeah, there's a little bonus. All right, here here we go. Actually, I should before I show these, I should probably show off these two films first. Here's a triple feature, King Kong 2005. But I want to talk about these movies first. King Kong vs. Godzilla 1962, the American version released in 1963, which is which the that's the version this is. The American version, which we finally got the Japanese cut, years later. I don't have that, but I'm fine sticking with the American version. Um, and plus, every now and then, rarely, I find the Japanese version free on YouTube. So, King Kong escapes. All right. So, King Kong vs. Godzilla 1982. I mean, it's the crossover classic. I mean, it's fun. It's it's a Godzilla classic. It's a crossover classic. It's one of the more entertaining King Kong movies. Godzilla's cool in it as always. My least favorite version of King Kong, honestly. I'm not a fan of Toho Kong, but he's all right. He's all right. He's got his highlight moments. Um, King Kong escapes. I don't know. I liked it. It was an entertaining Kong flick. It's mostly averagely enjoyable for me personally. And Gorosaurus makes his first appearance in this movie. He appeared in this movie before he appeared in Destroy All Monsters. So technically, the funny thing is that he started off as a King Kong character, but then he ended up becoming more recognized as a Godzilla character. So how funny is that? All right, so here is how it looks like. King Kong vs. Godzilla and King Kong Escapes are on one disc. And here is King Kong 2005. My opinion, my favorite King Kong movie. You can disagree. You could disagree with me if you want to. I already mentioned it at the beginning of the video. Because, as you can see, oh, this is like I have the most copies of. As you can see, 05 Kong is my favorite King Kong movie, personally. I really don't have that much to say. A powerful emotional ending. A powerful emotional, tragic ending. My favorite version of King Kong. I don't care what anybody says. It's my favorite take on the story. The message hits the hardest with this version. I really like the characters. King Kong, in my opinion, he's reached his peak as a character with this movie. In my own personal opinion. The action is great. Cinematography, in my opinion, like everything. I don't even mind the 3-hour runtime of the movie. So, because I'm so invested in the movie. Like I just don't, I just don't care. I just don't care, honestly. Now it does take a little too long to get to the island. Yeah, you gotta remember, no movie's perfect. I mean, man is made by. I mean, movie is made by man's hand, who is not perfect, right? So, but we can try, and that's good enough. And in my opinion, Peter Jackson really did try, and he succeeded with this his heart, with love and passion he had towards the 1933 original. And in my opinion, I think he sends the message better. But 1933 is an amazing masterpiece, classic, but this barely edges out the 1933 original because personally it's because of Kong. Like I care for Kong more as a character in this movie. I have more of a connection to him. Um I can relate to this Kong the most. I relate to Monster vs. Kong, don't get me wrong. But, you know, um um so yeah, but this is like the King Kong I relate to the most personally. And there's just some great emotional moments in this movie. So I know I'm talking and talking about, but it's one of my favorite movies of all time, along with the 1933 original. So can I open this with one hand? Let me see. Nope, I can't. Hold on. 3, 2, 1, and cut. So there's the disc. I don't want to show there. I bought this, used somewhere, and like the person really took care of it, and it's in great condition. Um, so, but the person signed their name on this this disc basically. But out of privacy reasons and respect, I don't want to show it. So I don't want to show the name on the disc. So, and here's this cool thing. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Family members are leaving to go somewhere, and they wanted me to lock up the house. So, and they called me to make sure everything was all right. So, and when I'm called, I gotta end the video. So, yeah, I'm recording again. I'm gonna edit the two videos together. So, yeah, but continuing on. Yeah, but here's a special manual that came from this copy of the DVD. So, yeah, here it is. It's like the official adaptation of the motion picture event of the year, Kong the Eighth Wonder of the World, by Dark Horse Comics. 20 years. So this was at the time of '05's release. So like 10, 20. So they might have been around by 1985. So are they the ones that made the mask and then they adapted it with Jim Carrey? I don't know. That's also another one of my favorite movies. I don't want to show. I don't know if I should show this. Can you get copyrighted for showing a comic book? I haven't looked it up yet. Here's just a little snippet of stuff. I'm not going to show the whole thing. This is just a little sneak peek and teaser, though, of what the comic looks like. So it's not the whole thing. Yep, here it is. It's a very cool, nice touch. I really like it. Yeah, really like it. That's pretty cool. Uh, by the way, in the meantime, while I'm showing you guys, what do I think of the other two movies, aka the movies I don't have in my collection? The 1976 King Kong remake and King Kong Lives. Uh, I like 1976 actually. I think that movie doesn't deserve the hate that it gets. I think it's over disliked. I think it's actually it has good moments for a remake actually. I think Rick Baker's work is awesome in it. I mean, I really like it, you know, the Rick Baker effects, but I just kind of like it. To me it is mostly average though. So, and there's a certain part of that movie I absolutely despise, and it's creepy. And you probably know what I'm talking about if you're a King Kong fan like me. And if you know about the movies, if you have more of a knowledge of the movies than even me, you probably know what I'm talking about. So here's another copy. This one's a full screen. This one was a widescreen. This is an older copy, I believe. So yeah. By the way, I can't believe the Bruce Baxter guy. I don't know if that's his name, but that guy actually appeared in. That guy's in this movie, and he would go on to appear in the MonsterVerse movie. So That's pretty interesting. I wonder if Jack Black will come back, but he went through a lot of controversy recently, and a lot of people are getting tired of him. So like oh he's in the if people be like oh he's in the MonsterVerse now, they can that guy just go away? Like people are annoyed. Here's a special little thing. Look, snacks. This is old by now. Like a little special movie making thing. That's really cool. I like that. Um, Here's this just advertisement stuff that you would get in the early 2000s. This came out right around the mid 2000s though, so yep. Oh boy, how do I close it back up? Yeah. Okay. There you go. This is an older copy though, so like the little advertisement stuff. Just these were the nostalgic days of DVD, man. I miss these days. And all right. And you could tell King Kong 2005 is the copies is the one King Kong movie I have the most copies of. But oh, I'm sorry guys, I went off topic. 1976, I like it, but it's average. I think it's over disliked, in my own personal opinion. King Kong Lives. Okay, I know a lot of people hate that one, a lot. It'd probably be ranked by the fans as the least best King Kong movie. But warning, unpopular King Kong opinion. I actually really liked King Kong Lives. I don't care what people say actually, and there are people out there like me that actually really like King Kong Lives. So, and even more unpopular opinion, I actually like it better than the 1976 movie. Yeah, I said it. Not by a lot though, but yeah, but however, the Kong effects in '76 were even better, were better. So that's my unpopular King Kong opinion. But hey, I said this was gonna be my opinion, so it's okay to disagree. We agree to disagree. But as you can see right in front of me, I have the um the extended edition, the deluxe extended edition of King Kong. So originally it comes in like more like a cool slipcover and this stuff. A part of it opened up like a book, like a little mini manual, and then you would slip it off, and then it's a slipcover, and then you'd also slip it off, and then you'll get the normal boxed DVD case. You get packed with special features in this, but I bought this, kind of used, so can I open it? Oh, dang it, I have to cut. Okay. Here it is. This is like packed because you have to this is the extended cut, so this is already a 3 hour long movie, so this is 3.5 hour long movie, dang. So here it is, little manual. Can I open it? Oh my goodness, it might be too small. Okay. Come on. Ugh, there we go. Got it open. A little hard to do this with one hand, but that's cool. Got all this stuff. And apparently this is where you can discover the original 1996 Peter Jackson draft. That script is cool. It's been a while since I looked back on it. It's pretty cool. I mean, a King Kong movie in the 90s would have been fire. I heard they didn't do it because of Godzilla 1998 and Mighty Joe Young, the Disney version, so hey, you saw me a little bit. Hello. Yeah. I don't want to show my face too much because I don't know. I don't like, I'm a shy ADHD person, that's why. Moving on. Come on, let's get it in there. The manual. Yeah, you get packed with a lot in this. The back will tell you itself, like 13 minutes of a number of foreseen features, 6 hours of all new special feature. It's like, this is a 3-disc set. Like, you get packed. I've never got the chance to watch the extended cut. I don't know why, but these DVDs I bought kind of used, so this one specifically, because, like, I think I tried to play it. It kind of had trouble working at points. So just like, can I even watch this still? Like, I don't know. So, yep. Anyways, that is it though. Um, for my King Kong movies before until we get to the MonsterVerse stuff. Um, come on, there we go. All right, there it is, King Kong. All right, there you go. Mighty Joe Young, not really a King Kong movie, but a similar movie and a bonus I feel like I have to include because of its huge relations to King Kong. And I feel like in some way, shape, or form, it's a part of the King Kong legacy. Alright, the Godzilla movies. Let me try to get through this quickly because I don't like I try to not drag on my videos, but I end up doing it anyway, so it's just a problem I have. Um Let me get them together. Alright. Now remember, I said I only have some Showa movies. It might even be a bit by standards because there's 15 of them. Guess what? I probably only have, this is all I have right here. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5. Technically 6 because I have Terror of Mechagodzilla on YouTube. I bought it, I purchased it, but it's not physical, so technically I own only 6 movies. I have to still buy Terror of Mechagodzilla on physical. So, man, I need to work on my Showa collecting. Just like I think I only have a couple of Showa figures too, like the 1954 and the 1968, which he's right there. Yeah, he's right there. Like, I need to show more more support for the Showa era, man, because I like the Showa era. I really do. It's just like, I don't know why. I guess Showa stuff is just harder to collect for me. I don't know. Like, it's harder for me to find stuff, but here it is. And of course, Godzilla, the original 1954 movie, the 1954 classic. Let me see if I can show this off pretty good. The Criterion collection, and we all know Criterion came out with the the box set. But this was released years ago though, so but kind of a while, like long before they came out with that collection. Uh, wasn't there something? Oh yeah, this is the DVD edition. Yeah, you can also get this version on Blu-ray. All right, let me see if I can show this off good. All right, hold on. All right, come on. There we go. You get a cool little booklet. There's the booklet. Here it is. That's cool. Boy. So here's a booklet. I can't show off goodly. That's hard. So you get some cool information in that. And here is the cool thing here. Yeah. I believe they're using, I think they're using the Kuryu Saga Godzilla look. So, I mean, if you look at that, yeah, that's Kuryu Saga Godzilla. Which I can't decide which is my favorite design. I have to think about it. I know my favorite version of Godzilla is Heisei, but I like all versions of Godzilla at the same time, so Heisei just has that special thing to him. Yep. And it opens up. And you get some cool shots of Godzilla. And look at this. My fit. Woo! Pop up. How awesome is that? My mind was blown as a kid when I saw this. Like, yeah. It's interesting how they use Kuryosaga Godzilla to represent the movie. So it kind of honestly reminds me how in Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, when they were showing flashback footage, and they refilmed the 1954 shots with the 2000 Godzilla suit. It's like, that's interesting. And the movie Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, there's another flashback scene, but they show up close new footage of the 1954 Godzilla meeting his demise in the hands of the oxygen destroyer with Serizawa and the sacrifice. And I wonder if they made a new 1954 suit just for that scene. I wonder. Or they CGI'd him a little bit. I don't know. But here's the set. Yep. Which, still works good. You get both the American version, the 1956 Godzilla King of the Monsters version. Not that movie. This one, the American 1954 version. Well, I mean the American version of the 1954 movie. And there's the Japanese version, disc 1. And 1956 is famous for having Raymond Burr in it. I probably need to watch that version. It's interesting. I heard he came back in 1985, the American version of Return of Godzilla, 1984. So, yep. What can I say? It's the classic. It's the original 1954 Godzilla. It's the classic. I mean, what else can I say? It's a masterpiece, like the 1933 original King Kong. Rest in peace to all of those who brought us these two. Rest in peace, by the way, to all those who brought us these two amazing classic monster movies. Rest in peace. Alright. So, there it is. Really like this set. It's amazing. Really cool. And here is Godzilla Raids again. I would have had Godzilla vs. Ghidorah as well, but my mom didn't have enough money to buy all, an extra one, so I was stuck with these two, so, and this one. So I would have bought Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, though, but I have to wait longer on that. But here it is, Godzilla Raids again. My other classic, probably the only classic media DVD Godzilla I have. I would like to get more. I'm gonna get more anyways, because that's how you get to own most of the Showa movies on DVD. So, yep. Here's Godzilla Raids again. In my opinion, not a bad movie. Not a bad Godzilla movie. I think it ranges from okay to decent, in my opinion, because I have to give this movie a lot of respect, because an appreciation as a Godzilla fan, because it introduced Anguirus, and one of my favorite kaiju in the Godzilla series, and Godzilla's first fight. So, yeah. But, not all that bad. Decent, but not one of my favorites though, but I do kind of like it, sort of. In my opinion at least. Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, another disliked one, but I have a soft spot for this one, because it's my first Toho Japanese Godzilla movie. Yes, you heard me. And I don't know, for some weird reason they used the 1964 suit, which is strange, because he looks like that in the movie. That's the suit, but yeah. Here's the back. Yep, a Kraken release. And they would go on to release the 1984 film, which I heavily appreciate, because finally I get to watch that. But yeah, 1964 is a cool suit, though. I don't mind 1965 because he looks like the Cookie Monster. Just had to throw that out there. Um, I don't mind Ibra Horror of the Deep. I don't. And speaking of my first Godzilla movie, I have to show this. But remember that special little thing? I said Blu-ray and DVD, but I said something. There was also something special and unique. We're going to go back farther. This is a VHS I have in my hand. This was my first exposure to the Toho Japanese Godzilla movies. Now, I did buy the 12-inch Bandai Creation Godzilla Final Wars figure. I was introduced to Godzilla through the 1998 stuff, the animated series and the movie. But, like, I bought my true first exposure, I think, was buying the Bandai Creation 12-inch Godzilla Final Wars figure. And, at a flea market. And hold on. So, bought the Bandai Creation 12-inch Godzilla. Sorry, there's an interruption there. Bought the Bandai Creation 12-inch Final Wars Godzilla. And I played the Godzilla Save the Earth video game. That was probably my second one. And finally, there was this old VHS tape that I guess they had somewhere. That came with It's Godzilla vs. Sea Monster, and came with a bonus feature in the form of Godzilla vs. Megalon. So these were my first two Toho Japanese Godzilla movies. So this one's pretty special. So I don't think I think my family had this for a while, even before, So that's why it's just here. So yeah, but I do have a soft spot, even though this movie is not one of my favorite Godzilla movies. I do have a soft spot for it. Here we have another one, Godzilla vs. Gigan. I know a lot of Godzilla fans don't like this one, but personally, I did, honestly. I kind of did like it. Not one of my favorites, but I really like it because one of the reasons to why is because of Gigan, one of my favorite Godzilla monsters. Yeah, Kraken release, as you can tell easily. Yep, and of course, I already showed you guys, but here's King Kong vs. Godzilla in 1952. I didn't show you the inside, but like I said, Godzilla and King Kong crossover classic. There we go. That took a lot of effort. Yeah. The American version, obviously. I wore the heck out of this disc when I was little. Funny thing, I actually got this DVD along with Mighty Joe Young, actually, so. Alright, so that is it for the Showa films. Now time to move on to Heisei and Millennium. Don't worry, I will collect all the Showa films, the rest of the Showa movies. Don't worry. Alright, here they all are. So, here is The Return of Godzilla, 1984. Funny enough, it's just called Godzilla or Gojira again in the Japanese title, but that's why it's also called Godzilla 1984. So, it's mostly known as The Return of Godzilla. In America, it was called Godzilla 1985, I believe. So, yep, for the first time in North America, the uncut and the uncensored original epic. So, bought this off of Amazon a while ago, like a couple years back or a year ago. Had to get it for my Godzilla marathon. And sadly, there is a part where the DVD kind of messes up a little bit. But the rest of the movie works totally fine. Perfectly fine. So I'm still able to, despite one part the DVD kind of goofs up on, I'm still able to watch the whole movie. And in my opinion, this is an underrated Godzilla film. Like, I don't know how many Godzilla fans talked about this. This is one of my favorites right here. Return of Godzilla 1984. My opinion, this is like S tier in my own personal opinion, but so it doesn't get talked about a lot. But I get it. It was hard and rare to find, but eh, it's one of my favorites. And the Heisei series, honestly, is just so dang good. Um, and speaking of which, we get to the rest of the Heisei era. Here are basically the rest of the Heisei movies on DVD. Godzilla vs. Biollante. And fun fact, in terms of like me getting these, this Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, Heisei, and Godzilla 2014, all these three right here, I think I got for Christmas right around the same time. So my mom got me 3 of these Godzilla movies for Christmas, so there you go. Just wanted to point that out there for fun. So yeah, Godzilla vs. Biollante. I do like it. I mean, in my opinion, I actually like all the Heisei movies. Yes, even Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, which some Godzilla fans are not that all that fond of. So yeah, Godzilla vs. Biollante, but Biollante is a pretty terrifying, creepy monster. Um, she's a very like well done, unique monster. Yeah, I really like this one. I really like the message in this one too. Pretty good. Really like it. I like all the Heisei movies, honestly. Here's my old copy of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah and Godzilla and Mothra: The Battle for Earth, but in Japan, the title is really Godzilla vs. Mothra. So let's just call it Godzilla vs. Mothra 1992, not to be super confused with Mothra vs. Godzilla in 1964, the original Showa version. Yeah. I really watched the heck out of this DVD. It's funny that I say that now, so I guess you could say I have it on DVD, but I don't. I don't, it went missing. What I mean by that? Well, alright, there's no, like, I don't have to. You see that? As a kid, I lost a disc. I don't know where it went. It's gone and lost in time. Luckily, I have, other options to watch those 2 movies, so. Yep, but Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, one of my favorites. Godzilla vs. Mothra, also another one of my favorites. Here you have another one of my favorites. The Heisei era for me is just good, man. It's just that good, in my opinion, at least. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, which is funny because like there is one Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. That's the Showa version. So, but it has a sequel in the form of Terror of Mechagodzilla. So, like, why is it called 2? But it's funny because it's also. I just called it that anyways because I also grew up playing the Atari Godzilla trilogy, Pipeworks trilogy on my PlayStation 2, and they always called this Mechagodzilla 2. So I just went with it. I still call it this to this day. But I want to be faithful to the Japanese title, so I just call this Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla the Heisei version, or Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1993 instead of 1974. So they know like which one you're so Goji fans know which one you're talking about. I really like this one. I really do. Has a pretty beautiful emotional end to it. Very intense sequences. Especially at the end, final standoff with Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. A lot of people don't like this. A lot of Godzilla fans are not fond of this Mechagodzilla. In my opinion, I actually like Heisei Mechagodzilla. I actually really do. I don't like him as much as Showa Mechagodzilla or Millennium Kuryu, but I do like Monsterverse though. But Heisei Mechagodzilla, I like him. I like every version of Mechagodzilla. By the way, I'm not bringing up the anime versions because I haven't watched those. I don't know what to think of those. So I heard that the anime trilogy wasn't good, and Singular Point's pretty popular, but I don't know. Um, I just prefer to stick to the live action movies. That's just me. Uh, here you go, Godzilla vs Space Godzilla and Godzilla vs Destroyer. Um, by the way, really liked this one right here. And here we have unpopular Godzilla opinion. I really liked Godzilla vs Space Godzilla and Godzilla vs Destroyer. My favorite Godzilla movie. Yes, even the original, above the original, even above -1. Uh, it barely edges out -1 and the 1954 original though, because those ones are masterpieces. But the reason why Godzilla vs. Destroyer is my favorite is because it's the same thing as Peter Jackson's King Kong, in my opinion. Although 10 years before, because just I just really have like it's like such an emotional and tragic Godzilla movie. Like it's also like the Godzilla movie that like in same fashion what Peter Jackson King Kong did, well for King Kong, making me feel very connected, as a character, to him as a character, and you know, just the tragedy, of the character and just emotionality. In my opinion, Godzilla vs. Destroyer kind of does a similar thing for Godzilla as a character. Like it really shows the tragedy, can't help but just like relate to him, feel sorry. I don't know, just like I care for Godzilla in all the movies, even in Son of Godzilla where he looks his worst, but I at least still care for him as a character in that movie, and he still kicks butt. But like I do care for Godzilla in every movie, but here this is where I care for him the most as a character, in my own personal opinion. So and Destroyer, just like dang, just like what a what a villain kaiju, man. Uh, People poo on Space Godzilla. I don't mind Space Godzilla, honestly. In my opinion, unpopular Godzilla opinion, I think Space Godzilla is pretty cool. And another unpopular opinion, I don't get what's up with the supposed stupidness of the name. Just sure, it doesn't have that oomph. That it doesn't have that oomph to it like Mecha Godzilla, but I just never understood it, in my opinion. But here are some bonuses. Blu-ray, the Toho Godzilla collection. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, and Godzilla and Mothra: The Battle for Earth. I do call it that most of the time, the Battle for Earth, because to separate it from the original title of the Showa version. And I just realized that these Blu-rays have the Japanese versions of the movies, so I probably have to give these a watch. And now it just makes me want to collect the rest on Blu-ray because like those have the Japanese versions on them. And I could have been serious back then. I heard that Godzilla fans say that, the best way to watch these movies is with the Japanese dub and English subtitles. So, the original Japanese dub and English subtitles. So, and plus, I like to stay faithful to the original Japanese version. So, yeah, there you go. Come on, open. There we go. Oh, I don't want to scratch up the Blu-ray. Is everything good? Everything good? Everything good? Yeah, this is right. This was released right around the time 2014 was coming out, and I think that was when Kraken was also releasing their releases of Godzilla. So like they were releasing Sony and Kraken were releasing uh copies of certain Godzilla movies. By the way, if you saw the code, by the way, that's long expired, man. You know, so there you go. Other stuff you can get. There you go. Here it is. The Blu-rays look really nice, man. It's been a long time since I've seen these. This is like a walk down memory lane. Yeah. There you go. The two movies. You get them separately this time. You don't get them on one disc. So cool. Really cool. Really like that. Awesome. Oh yeah, and there's disc art. That's right. Can I show it? Can I show it? I'm gonna have to cut. And here's what the disc art looks like in the inside. There you go. That's really cool. You just get the posters, but that's really cool. I really like that. All right. All right. There you go. That's Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah and Godzilla Mothra: Battle for Earth. And here is the next one I bought. Uh, the two Millennium movies this time. GMK, aka Godzilla and Mothra and King Ghidorah. Giant Monsters Will Let Attack. I've gotten used to saying the pretty long title. We just say GMK because we're not going to say that huge dang name all the time. Interesting how even for the Millennium movies they use the Heisei Godzilla. I believe they also released the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, so I would like to get that actually. That does come in this collection, but it's only the first two movies. It doesn't include the third one. So I remember watching the third one a long time ago, Rebirth of Mothra, and actually remember really enjoying it. So I'll check out Rebirth of Mothra sometime, and the original Rodan and the original Mothra too. That'll be pretty interesting. Someday though. Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and yeah, both favorites of mine. Really like both. Yeah, there's the back, and of course, gotta show you guys the inside. Come on. I don't like for my videos to drag on so long, even though it already is by now. I'm so sorry. All right, cutting right now. Here are the two discs, which is really awesome, really cool. They both look really nice. And here it is on the inside. Two awesome posters of both movies. So, that's the Heisei movies, one on Blu-ray, and here is the Heisei series on DVD. And here's two Millennium movies on Blu-ray, and I'm gonna continue on with the rest with Godzilla 2000, as the Pipeworks Atari Godzilla fighting game announcer likes to say, at least in Save the Earth. Destroy All Monsters, though. Destroy All Monsters Melee says Godzilla 2000. And Unleashed would say Godzilla 2000. All creepy. Sorry if that was cringe there. But I like it. I don't care. I always like that narrator. Yeah, Godzilla 2000. There are some Godzilla fans who are not fond of this one, but personally, I really like it. I really do. It's one of my favorites. And here is another copy I have of Godzilla 2000. Although this one is jacked up. Yeah, you could tell. Look at that, and then, oh, here it is. Yep, there's a scuffs, there's a scratch. Like, dang, I jacked that DVD up. Okay. Godzilla 2000. One of my favorites, honestly. And another one of my favorites, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Yes, I like this one. Godzilla vs. Megaguirus is, I know a lot of Godzilla fans, a good chunk of Godzilla fans are not fond of this one. But honestly, I don't care, because I watched the movie. I really liked it. I liked it just as much as 2000, honestly. Definitely one of my favorite Godzilla designs, and have a soft spot for it. I don't mind Megaguirus. Orga was pretty cool. Megaguirus was also an interesting monster. Also tying back to the Meganula, to the Rodan movie. So that's pretty cool. Yep. That's a cool disc art there. And another one of my top favorites, GMK. Just great characters, great monsters, great action scenes, great story, great writing, just all of that good stuff. A good message. This copy I have doesn't work anymore. An interesting take on King Ghidorah. Interesting take on Godzilla. By the way, when I think of an evil villain Godzilla, this comes to mind. The GMK Godzilla comes to mind always. Godzilla -1, yeah, it is acknowledged now, but I think I think GMK Godzilla will always hold the title for the most evil Godzilla we've ever seen. Um, Mothra's pretty cool in this movie. She's pretty unique and interesting. Um, this is the only Mothra lore I think that doesn't have the twins, but there is a shot of the movie where I could be serious that they could be referencing the twins. I'm not sure. Baragon was a nice addition. He's a pretty underrated kaiju. Um, would have been interesting to see a multiverse Godzilla thing and see the good King Ghidorah fight the normal villain King Ghidorah we're all used to. That'd be pretty cool. Godzilla against Mecha Godzilla. Another one of my top tier favorites. I really like Godzilla versus. I really like Godzilla against Mecha Godzilla. I really like all the Godzilla. All the Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla movies are good in my opinion. They're entertaining. They're good. They're good work of art. You know, I really like uh the original 1974 Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla is great and a Godzilla classic. It's fun. It's just pure entertainment. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, the Heisei version, also really good in my opinion. One of my favorites. I'll give it an A tier in my opinion. Um, but this is a S tier right here. Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. My favorite design, honestly, my favorite design of Mechagodzilla, my favorite version of Mechagodzilla overall, and this just might be my favorite Godzilla design. Maybe that's a maybe. My favorite version will always be Heisei, but I like all versions of Godzilla. It's all Godzilla to me. I do have more of a soft spot towards the Showa, Heisei, and Millennium versions of Godzilla, though. I really like -1, really like Shin Godzilla, but I have more of a soft spot for the normal Showa, Heisei, Millennium versions. One of the shorter Godzilla movies, funny enough, 88 minutes. Yeah, and very sick concept of the bones of the original Gojira 1954 being used to create Mechagodzilla. Cool disc art. Here we have its sequel, which in my opinion is just as good. Godzilla Tokyo SOS. Very emotional conclusion to the Kiryu duology. Not as fun action. It's got some good kaiju action, but not as fun action as the first movie. But it makes up for that in story and the message and that stuff. You know, that one had a. Ants Mechagodzilla probably had a good message to it, but like this one makes up for the story and message and the human characters and connections to the original Mothra in 1961, I believe, and you know Godzilla being cool as always, and continuing on the cool Kiryu story, Mechagodzilla story, really good. Another one of my favorites, Tokyo SOS. Another favorite of mine, Godzilla Final Wars. I like how just bat poo crazy this movie is. I just really gets me to embrace my ADHD. Okay. So, one of my favorites, just pure entertainment, fun action, and nice conclusion to the Toho movies. Before we got the return with Shin Godzilla and long before -1. One of my favorites, Godzilla Final Wars. So that's the whole Millennium era. Which, let me see here. Hold on. I think I have more copies of Millennium movies than I do Heisei. Yeah, look at that. And it gets even more crazier with that too, because this could also be included. The Toho Godzilla collection, which it's the same thing. It's a similar thing as this and this, like that thing down there, that one down there. Yeah, that. And similar thing, although it's on DVD in this DVD box set that I have. I bought this because some of the ones I had were scratched up and didn't work, so I just had to get this. I don't know how much I bought. Wait, my mom got this for me at Walmart. $50 maybe? I'm taking a wild guess. Yep, Volume 1, Volume 2. You can buy the volumes separately, actually. and instead of just getting this box set. But yep, but getting the box set is more satisfying, in my opinion. It basically shows all the movies. Um, yep, here they all are again. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. This is gonna be my opinion. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, A tier. Godzilla vs. Mothra, the Heisei one, A tier. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the Heisei, A tier. Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, A tier. I know most people probably give that a C or a B tier, but I really liked vs. Space Godzilla. That's an unpopular Godzilla opinion. I gave it an A tier. Godzilla vs. Destroyer, S tier. My favorite. Godzilla 2000, A tier. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, A tier. At least in my opinion. I know there's some Godzilla fans that don't like it, but I really like those ones in my own personal opinion. Unpopular Godzilla opinion for Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. GMK, that's an S tier. Against Mechagodzilla, another S tier. Tokyo SOS, another S tier in my opinion. And Final Wars, another S tier. I have a hard time deciding which is my favorite era, whether it's Heisei or Millennium. Showa is also pretty awesome as well, in my opinion. Like how crazy and vintage it is. All these cool epic ideas. Alright, here are the volumes. Here's volume 1. I will, at one point in the future, I will watch the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy. Don't get me wrong. I will watch it at one point. Alright, there it is. Basically what you saw already, but in a different format. The weird thing is that they say that they have closed captions, but I tried to put them on my mini DVD player tablet hybrid, and it's just not working. I don't know what the heck's up with that. But if you're wondering why is there only one disc in here, no, that's kind of a trick of the eye, actually. You're probably familiar with this, but there's this thing that they did recently where it's a new format that they do for DVD collections where they stack the discs on top of each other. I don't know if that's a good way to do it, or I don't know if that's safe, but yeah, there is other discs under disc 1. So they're under here. So just letting you know, they are under that one. There is more than one disc in there. It's just that they're stacked on top of each other. Like, very properly, though, but I don't know if that's a good way to do it. Here's volume 2. I don't know, you guys decide. The movies are still in good condition. I watched them recently. Volume 2. This one has 4 discs this time. There you go. Oh yeah, you get this cool little thing. I forgot to show it for volume 1. Here it is. This cool little card thing showing what movies are available on this volume. I forgot to show that for volume 1. Hold on. Yeah, here's volume 1. There you go. So I forgot for a little second to show that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Although the weird thing with this collection, it makes me wonder, why didn't they include Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 with these movies? I don't know why. Like, they didn't include it. Like, couldn't they have just gave it its own separate disc, maybe? I'm not sure. And they would have given Godzilla 2000 its own separate disc, or paired it with Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and GMK would have had its own separate disc, like Final Wars. I don't know. I could see why they probably didn't want to. They wanted to be unique, or they had a rights issue thing, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know what the heck it is. I said heck, by the way. I'm not the person that uses aggressive language, if you know what I mean. Alright. Let me see if I can get these in here. So satisfying to slide the DVDs into a slipcover. And that's a sick cover, by the way. I really like that. Explosions, the awesome Godzilla 2000 design, at least in my opinion. And you got Rainbow Mothra down there. Nah, that is a Rainbow Mothra. That's Mothra Leo, I believe. Because Rainbow Mothra does look a little bit different. Alright, the collection's being taken up. Okay. Uh, which one should I show first? I already showed you guys my MonsterVerse collection so many times already, but more than once, so let me just show you the Raya era movies really quick. Now, it's really up for debate whether MonsterVerse is a part of the Raya era or if it's its own thing. But most people tend to say that Raya is its own era, so I'm just gonna go ahead. I mean, to be fair, okay, I don't count 1998 as a true Godzilla movie, but it is kind of a Godzilla movie still. By the way, um, but they don't count it as a part of either era though. So I probably would count 1998 as a part of the Millennium era, but it's not really a true Godzilla film. But these are more true Godzilla films, so oh no. 1998, that's overkill at this point. I don't think 1998 is as bad as everybody makes it out to be, but I have a soft spot for it too. But 1998, it's not really a good Godzilla movie. It doesn't. No, it's not. And as a movie itself, it's kind of meh. But I have a soft spot for it, and it has its highlight moments. And I do like Zilla actually. Here's Shin Godzilla. Um, don't get me wrong, this one's decent. I like it. I guess this Godzilla movie's just not really my thing. There were many parts of the movie where I was bored, but the Godzilla scenes are S tier, and I highly respect and appreciate for what the director tried to do with this movie. That's really awesome. And, created a legendary part of the Godzilla series. There is a cool thing. And hold on. There is a cool little gimmick here where there is a secret alternate poster, but I don't really have the energy to show that off right now, so yeah, I don't want to get this all wonky, but there is, I think it's basically similar to this picture. So there you go. Although not one of my favorites, I respect and appreciate that one, and that one is a very memorable part of the Godzilla legacy. Here we have the masterpiece, Godzilla, the modern masterpiece, Godzilla -1. Takashi Yamazaki, who did a spectacular job on this movie. I still need to watch this one again. I will eventually get to it again, but my goodness, this movie was a masterpiece. I did watch it on Netflix. This one, this is number 3. 1954 is number 2. Godzilla vs. Destroy is number 1. But those top 3 are kind of almost equally matched. In my opinion, I do barely prefer 1954. And it says right there, Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. And my goodness, it did deserve that award. Because, I'm not gonna lie, this may be an exaggeration, but I don't know, you people are gonna say, oh, you don't watch a lot of movies, do you? No, I do watch a lot of movies. I'm a movie guy. I'm also a gamer. I'm a movie guy, too. I'm a dude who's a fan of fiction, for all. I feel like, I don't know what the heck it is, but I feel like this might be the best CGI I've ever seen in my life. Okay, Peter Jackson King Kong had great CGI. The original Jurassic Park did. Some movies had, but however, these recent times, they just got really poor with the quality of CGI these days. But this movie really shows that CGI can be an impressive movie effect. Like, dude, there is some photorealistic CGI in this movie. The MonsterVerse has some good CGI too, don't get me wrong. But dang, the CGI, man, is fire in this movie. Oh yeah, and this great story. I mean, great Godzilla scenes, just great intenseness, amazing characters, amazing writing. What can I say, honestly? -1 is a modern masterpiece. It definitely deserves to be in my top three. It is in my top three. So, yep, there's -1. I do barely slightly prefer 1954 and Versus Destroya, but that's just my opinion. That's just how I feel. But -1 is still number three. It's still in my top three, and that's saying something because it's a modern masterpiece. I mean, what else can I say? Um, a lot of Godzilla movies are awesome to me, but I won't even go as far as to say that that is the one that definitely, in years, decades, to actually rival the quality of the 1954 masterpiece. Like, that's just really good. Like, Takashi Yamazaki killed it with that movie. And of course, in the awesome good way. So, here it is, the MonsterVerse movies. And of course, we have the MonsterVerse. Here it is. Uh, Alright, 2014. Um, Good movie, in my opinion. The, one of the subjective Godzilla films, but it's up there in terms of my favorites. Here's another copy I have. Hold on, let me see if I can make some room here. There we go. Much better. Here's the Blu-ray copy I have. Come on. Alright. Okay, there we go. Whoops. Okay. I do want to show the Blu-ray in all of its glory. Sounded like a regular show character. So something like Mordecai and Rigby would say. Yeah. Alright. Here is Kong Skull Island. Okay, when it comes to the DVD copies of these movies, they do have a 2-disc special edition, and I do want to get those editions of the movie. But, money stuff, money problem, and, I already have the Blu-rays to access these special features, so... And plus, weirdly enough, I don't think Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire had a DVD copy where it comes with, like, 2 discs, so... Which is weird to me. Here's the Blu-ray one. The Blu-ray has cool artwork. Actually, both the DVD... Okay, so here's the thing. Funny how some of the different copies have, like, different artwork. Like, see that? That's the DVD artwork. It shows the iconic shot of Kong's handprint on the mountain. And the Blu-ray just says Monarch. So, there you go. And here is Godzilla King of the Monsters. Kong Skull Island is a fun film. I really like Godzilla King of the Monsters. I really do. Another subjective Godzilla film, but in my opinion, I really like it. My first Godzilla movie I ever seen in a theater, that makes it pretty special to me personally. There's a DVD, here's the Blu-ray. I saw a different DVD copy that had a different poster to it, but it came with 2 discs. So this one has another cool type of blue to it. Really like the blue theme in King of the Monsters. Here is Godzilla vs. Kong. This one is really hard to kind of put in and out. So, there it is. Godzilla vs. Kong. And this is like the collector ego getting the better of me too. It's like, now I want to collect collect the Blu-rays now too. All right, little advertisement. Here's Godzilla's footprint on DVD and Kong's footprint on the Blu-ray. Really nice. Kind of reminds me of the Freddy Krueger versus Jason Voorhees movie disc artwork. On one disc, he had Jason Voorhees, and one disc, he had Freddy Krueger. So there's Godzilla versus Kong, one of my top tier favorites. And another subjective one, Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. Very subjective because some don't like it, others do like it. In my opinion, I don't care what people say, this is one of my top tier favorites. Just fun, like another Godzilla Final Wars, man. Just total fun, total entertainment. So, and a bonus, special little bonus. I have the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla cartoon. I did see the 1998 animated series at Walmart. I should have gotten that because I have a nostalgia towards that animated series, and it's kind of the thing that introduced me to Godzilla as a whole, thinking of. So yeah, alright, there's the DVD. Try to show you better. There we go. I know some Godzilla fans didn't like this animated series, but I kind of do. I can't help but like it, sort of. So that is it. So that's it for my collection video. So that's it for the collection. The Showa era, the Heisei era, the Millennium era, Shin Godzilla with the Hanna-Barbera animated series, and here are the King Kong movies, and here's the MonsterVerse. Here's the other copy of King Kong 2005 and Godzilla -1. So that's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching. I love you all. Take care, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you liked the video, well, don't be shy. Go ahead and leave a like. And if you like the content I do on my channel, well, don't be shy. Go ahead and subscribe. And stay tuned for more videos coming very soon. And I will try to make sure of it. Okay. Thank you guys, and as good old Kong Spideyzilla says, who used to be McFlurry. Peace out.